I recently just graduated from, graduate school a year ago, exactly in a month. And it's very true what he said. While I was at Northeastern, my interest in journalism, I was a journalism major here, and I did digital journalism at Columbia. It came from my family. I have 3 journalists in my family, and I always grew up thinking, oh my God, they know everything. I want to do what they do. And it pretty much, very fast, became my dream, but it became a realization that they didn't really know everything, that they worked very hard to know everything and to get where they are. I have an aunt who is an editor now in a financial paper in Mexico City. I'm from Mexico. And when I was little, I just thought she was given the job, and not really. I mean, she was 18 in college. She was out covering events on the street by herself, a woman in the city, which wasn't very safe, and she did it. And when I was in school, and I was a freshman, she told me, now you're really going to see what it is about. Get a job and read everything that is handed to you. Just do it. And I didn't believe her, but sure enough, I tried to go into the Northeastern News, and pretty much after Journalism 1 ended, and my professor said, you suck at this, but if you really want to be a journalist, and I will never forget him, and I hope he's still here, Professor Lake McKee, if you really want to do this, work harder. You have the passion, you have the dream, make it happen. And I said, okay, and I pretty much just spent Christmas vacation depressed. And I said to myself, maybe I should just go into PR. And then my aunt said, hey, you have to do this, and she's more direct. She's my mom's sister. But my other 2 uncles are also reporters. They're also very advanced in their institutions, and they said the same thing. Just you can't let it go. If this is really what you want to do, you have to make it happen. And so January came, I immersed myself more into Northeastern News, and I pretty much just started reporting, and I remember even fellow students telling me, you did this wrong, you did this right, whatever. And by that summer I said, okay, I've got a better hang of this. I'm going to go get myself a real job. I need to start getting paid because I'm not just going to do for free forever, which sometimes you will have to do, and it's oftentimes, not sometimes. And I went to a local newspaper because I figured they need help. All I can do is, maybe make copies, translate stuff. I know Spanish. I'm going to start there. And without knowing, because I had the skill, I know another language, they took me right away. And it was 2004, the Democratic Convention was here in town. They sent me to cover it. And it pretty much is being at the right place at the right time. It really is not a joke. You have to be out there. You have to expose yourself. And the editor said, go get yourself a pass, bring me stuff for the radio, for the newspaper, whatever. And, I mean, I was 19 covering the Democratic National Convention. What the heck did I know about this, And you go along and you learn. And it was amazing. And from that experience, I said, okay, I want to do this full time. Came back, continued with the Northeastern News, and one thing comes into another. I went to the MTV website because when I was little, I wanted to be a VJ. I said, okay, let's see if I can do this. MTV News. Applied online. MTV News didn't take me because their whole department was renovating itself, but my Super Sweet 16 did. And I said, okay, I'm going to go do my first co-op. And I hated it. And I told the producers of that show, it's like, I cannot sit here and log tapes, which logging, you get a tape and you have to write everything that they say in the tape. And I really wanted to shoot myself, listening over and over. Oh my God, seriously. Oh my God, I can't believe she did that. Oh my God. And I really was typing this as they're saying it. And I said to my producer, you know what? I can't do this. I'm not going to be here for 3 months doing this. Fire me or give me something else.
Wait, 3 months or 6 months?
Well, when I did this was just for the summer. Oh. So I kind of did that, and I left my other co-op that I had early. So I kind of did 2 co-ops at once. So it wasn't a very nice move, I guess. But I always came into every job saying, okay, I'm going to work for you, and I just want you to know I'm applying for this other thing for the summer, but they might need me early. Mm-hmm. And they were always understanding. I mean, I don't recommend it, saying oh, I'm going into a job and I'm looking for something else. Mm-hmm. But you're a student. You're trying things. You always have to be honest, and you always have to be looking for opportunities, especially right now, because when you get yourself into a job, then you really can't do it. It's not like you've got a full-time job and you're going to say, oh, hey, by the way, I'm also looking for a job while I'm working for you. It's not doable. While you're on co-op, there's a little bit more flexibility, but you do have to have that responsibility and that honesty with your employees. So while I was there, I did apply. They wanted me a month early, and so I went. And I hated what I was doing. I went to my producer supervisor as well as a co-op supervisor, who I think is still there. And I said, listen, I really love being here. I love that you took me. I'm really happy. But I can't do this. I really didn't come to New York to spend all this money to just sit at a desk and tape, oh my God, you know. So, ironically, she said, okay, nobody else has complained, but they do need somebody at this other department. So, I'll pass you to them because they need an intern. And I said, okay, sure, I'll take it. What do I have to do? Oh, it's more administrative stuff. You're not going to be doing as much at producing, but, you know, they need help. They need an assistant more than anything. And I said, yeah, I'll take it. And my producer said, okay, well, fine. I'm sorry, whatever. And I went, literally, the next day. I met the other producers, and they said, yeah, we are the team that produces the VMAs. We need you to do administrative stuff, copies, run our budgets, you know, get tapes for footage, everything else. And I was like, oh, so when, like, the show this summer, it's like, yeah. So if you do a good enough job, you're coming with us to Miami. That's it. Okay. And you better believe it, I wasn't getting paid squat. And I was working 40 hours a week. And I worked at night as a waitress to be able to pay my way through New York. So that's what I'm saying and what everybody just said. If you really want this, you got to make it happen. And sure enough, by the end of summer, September was there. I came in a week late to school, but I was in Miami producing the show. And it really just reiterated even more that I really wanted to do this job, that I really wanted this career, even though I'm still figuring out what my career is at this age, you know. And really, MTV opened the doors to a lot more. I got a job instantaneously, almost at Polydor. When I was going to study abroad, I figured, well, I'm just going to study, might as well work. I worked there with the digital department, and the head of business, was the head of digital back then. And it really was a time when, you know, being on MySpace, being on Facebook, all of that became popular. And it gave me another set of tools of knowing how to interact with audiences online and knowing how to go to an artist, for example, when we had meetings and say, oh, you know, aside from doing this campaign where you pass out, you know, free CDs or whatever, you should send a newsletter online, capture people, young people who are depending on the computers now, so that you can grab their attention. And I came back, and I decided that I wanted to do digital media because really that is the way for the future. And this was, what, 2006, you know?
Way back then.
Yeah, I know, way back then. And I came back, and it was just my decision. I said, okay, once I graduate, I'm going to focus on digital media, and the school that I want to go to study more about this, because I didn't have that set of tools, was Columbia, because they had a program where they taught you how to use all the latest systems, how to use the camera, how to edit, things that I wasn't learning at Northeastern. And not because I didn't want to, or perhaps they weren't offered, because I was a junior at that point, and it was too late for me to do it. But I realized it by having experiences that I needed these tools to be a better asset to anybody, to any corporation, any institution, whatever.